safe space. We ain't never give a reason you should hide. Compile all your questions, we're taking the quest. Join Tarcia on this journey to discover the rest. Go.
Welcome to the Adoption Journey podcast. I am your host, Tarcia Smith, and welcome back to another week and another journey, another story. Before we get started, you guys know what to do. Go to Instagram, like, follow, subscribe, YouTube, the show, and then also we have Black Adoptees Meetup coming up. So go to blackadopteesmeetup.org, get all the information for virtual meetups and in-person meetup. That happens in Chicago this year, October 3rd through the 5th. All right, now we got all that out of the way. I have a fellow adoptee in the building by the name of Nole. Hello, Nole.
Hello.
And what I love to do is literally dive right in. So my very first question for you, and it's always my first question, is how old were you when you found out that you were adopted?
Mine's is kind of interesting. Is I'll say for the question 5 years.
5. That's okay.
Yes.
That's a good age. How do you find out at 5?
Like I said, mine's a little different.
Okay.
I know of complications with my parents as I was growing up. I am the oldest of 4.
Okay.
I saw the complications that they gone through at an early age, and how I found out. We had a family get together. It wasn't Christmas. It wasn't nobody's birthday. It wasn't the 4th. It's just all my aunties and uncles gathered at my mother's house.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's talking to us. I'm the oldest. I'm 4 going on 5 at this time. Everybody's giving us a hug, but I noticed that I can't remember, everybody's crying. Aunties definitely crying. Uncles, you need to take care of yourself, and we don't know what's going on.
Okay.
My brothers and sisters are still babies.
Sure, because you're 5.
Yeah. So they're still babies at the time, and we just noticed everybody, again, very emotional situation. We noticed there were a bunch of bags at the front door, our stuff, the stuff that we came with. And we didn't know. I remember went from my mom and, now my mom's apartment to the house. I am from Chicago, this is the Maywood area. And remember this lady showed up in a blue vehicle. I remember it was a blue Chevy. And she's talking to my mom. My mom is crying. My aunts are crying. My uncles are just kind of holding me and everything. And they gather us up, walk us out to the vehicle, and we all get in, my brothers and sisters and I, and we're wondering what's going on. The strange lady that no one's ever met walks into the house, and we drive off. My brothers and sisters are crying. Obviously, I'm crying as well, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
So when you were with your mom, and when you say your mom, that was your biological mom.
Mother. Yes. Long story short, found out later they found her to be an unfit mother. And the state of Illinois stepped in.
So you remember the day that you were taken?
Yes.
Oh. And I know you're little, do you remember where you went? Like, walk me through that day. Like, whatever you can remember.
I ain't gonna even lie, I'm nervous, but I also got a knot in my throat because it's just making me think of that whole situation altogether. So we're in the stranger's car, we're in the back seat, we driving off from Maywood, we go into Chicago.
Okay.
And I remember we made multiple stops at different locations where we'll meet with people and they will play with us and whatever, and then we'll pile up back in the car, go to another location. I remember we went to 3 locations where they took us, and later found out these are people that they were trying to find to foster us.
Right.
We get to, which you'll find out later, I still remember the address, 3216 West Walnut.
Oof.
Chicago, Illinois, just half a block from Kedzie. And we go up in here, and it's already 4 other kids in this particular house. So we get in, we're playing with the other kids, the social workers, talking to the foster mother. And they talk. She leaves. She waves at us, okay, guys, you be good. And she leaves. All our stuff is here. Hey, you're going to be staying with us. So,
For almost 5.
yes.
You've got to be so scared as a little
Uh,
kid to be
even
dropped
as
off with a
now,
stranger.
talking, yeah, even
Yeah.
now, just talking about it, just it's yeah.
So,
So,
do you remember anything about these people? How long were you
yes,
there?
I went from being the oldest to now I'm in the middle child because there's already 4 of the kids in this home. Find out later it's a foster home.
Mm-hmm.
For 4 of the kids are already in the house. A couple are already in high school, um, and then we're the babies. So 8 of us in one house with a foster mother.
How big was this house?
What was it? Full big basement. Um, it was 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. And I remember the bathrooms because we had to do chores. And somehow, some way, I got stuck doing the bathrooms. So
Because you were the baby. Y'all were the babies, and they didn't
I
want to
was,
do it.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Get it. Let them do the toilets.
So yeah, we were assigned chores, and I remember the bathrooms like it was yesterday. That we before we can go outside on Friday, Saturday, on the weekends,
Yeah.
you gotta do your chores. You gotta get your
Sure.
homework done. You gotta do your chores.
Was it a mother and father, or just the mother?
No, just a mother,
Okay.
just a foster mother.
Just the foster mom.
Yeah,
And
we were there. Um, basically, it was just a foster mother. She had people in the neighborhood that helped out.
sure.
Um, people would come. Well, we didn't need a babysitter because all the other kids were older. So,
What do you remember about those older kids? Were they nice? Did you have issues? Were they?
they were awesome to us. We still communicate to this day.
Oh,
We
that's
have
good.
with the one that's closest to us, in age, David. He lives in Houston, and we still communicate now. We have pretty much my brother's keeper type uh, um, text group, support group. From working out to talking to each other, everything. We stay in touch.
That's amazing. Now, I want to ask about your younger siblings during this time. If you can remember, how
hmm
did they adjust? They're so little.
Well, my younger, the smallest two, Paul and Paulette, were obviously by the name they're twins. My youngest sister has a mental disability,
Okay.
so her adopting at a young age was great for her because she had the support of everybody in the household looking after her. We had to go get our checkups, and they discovered, she was unable to see and hear properly. So making sure that she was taken care of. Most importantly, again, her brother. It was weird. They still have it today. They had this like psychic bond, like twins have.
Yeah.
My sister would like cry out for something, and I'd be like, "What she want? Oh, she's hungry." you know.
Yeah.
And my brother would just know, and then come to
Yeah.
find out to give her something, and she would like just that
That
bond they
twin,
have.
that bond, that bond.
Yeah,
And how long were you at this in this home?
5 actually, and I'll explain. In 5 years at that particular location, but pretty much for a lifetime, and I'll explain. That's why I
Okay.
was telling.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's why I was asking Kathy when she told me that she was on here. I'm like, do I consider for it? And I'll explain why.
Okay.
But basically, we're there. She's taking care of us throughout that 5 year, from 5 to about almost 10, 9, 10 years old. My dad starts popping up.
Oh,
At the time,
get
my
out of
dad
my
was
head
going,
because I was literally just getting ready to ask, did you have any contact with your birth family during these
yes.
years?
Two strange ways. One, that side of the family, the Archie, the my mom's side of the family, they contacted us, but it was kind of finicky at the time. There was a lot of rifts going on with that side of the family. My dad was in a bad place, and he got himself together and discovered where we were, and he
Okay.
started popping up. He bring us clothes, he bring us money. I remember in that time period, every January, my my dad would take me to the auto show at the McCormick Place
Mm,
every January. We just see all the new cars, and because he was a car guy,
okay.
and start develop up with him, and then find out years later. My mom talked to him, hey. Don't get the kids hyped up, and you come spend time with them, and then you abruptly stop. She's seen it happen one too many times with foster kids. The
Mm.
parents show up, they spend time with the kids, and then they just stop.
So did he stop?
No,
Okay.
he because she's my foster mom. She's always been in the Chicago school system, trying
Okay.
fostering kids. We're not the eight she had was not the first, and it wasn't the last throughout the years. She's
Okay.
always fostered kids. So and one date in particular, I remember we went to Wendy's. And me and my brothers and sisters were eating our food. We got the Frosties and having fun. And across the way, I see my mom or my foster mother and my dad at a booth together talking. I just think nothing of it. Whatever. She still keeps, again, he keeps showing up, spending time with us, but we noticing that now he's starting to spend time with her.
Okay, then.
So I don't know how much time we have,
Oh, as much
but
time as we got
okay,
time
well,
because we
just
need
many
that.
okay. But I kind of, as of being the oldest, I kind of noticed they spend time, a lot of time with each other, or we'll be at home with the kids, and my mom would be, I'm going out. The foster mom,
Yeah.
we're not foster kids. She go have fun, not thinking that. Find out years later she was going on dates with my dad.
Okay. So as a little
So
kid, you're seeing this and you're like, oh, they're spending time, but when do you really start to put it together?
put it together, because just me being a kid, I was just January 1st, 1985. I was 10. I had just turned 10, but that was the year they got married, the date and year they got
And back up for a little bit.
married.
During this time, because I got to ask about your birth mom,
Okay.
because I understand now why.
I was gonna get to the other side. Go ahead.
Yeah, because she's not popping up. She's not like, it's just that, okay, so your birth dad, so January 1st, 1985, they get married.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Because now you're, how, 10?
Well, it wasn't, at first it was okay because of the fact that, she wasn't, we see her, like, for example, you know, rest in peace, I miss her. But we'll go to church,
Mm-hmm.
and she will show up at church, and we will see her, and we'll run to her, mom, how you doing? And she will hug us and just politely turn us around and send us back.
Mm.
Or she would just pop up at places that she knew we was going to be, and just give us a hug and just send us on our way. She wouldn't really interact with us when at that time. I don't know what she was going through. I don't know the situation. I've been asking for years, like, what was going on. I do remember that. I remember going, uh, again, Mount Ebenezer Missionary Baptist Church. I'm going to I'm going to the bathroom, and I see my mom down the hallway. Like a little kid, I'm running to mom, give her a hug. Again, polite me, turn her around, and sent me back. I didn't think much of it. But in the beginning, she really didn't pop up a lot in our life.
And you said to this day, nobody would really talk about what was going on.
At that portion, no one really give us an answer of what was really going on at that time with my mom and her situation.
Mm. Okay.
Even when gotten older, when I asked her about it, she just didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
So,
so
okay, so when they get married on January 1st, 1985, because now that date's going to stick with me, he moves in, or do you guys move? What happens?
We do move. I remember many trips we would, first of all, we did move. We moved from, and my brain is weird like this. I remember that address, 4707 St. Charles Road, Bellwood, Illinois. We moved there.
Okay.
And my dad, he goes through what he got to do because at the time he still has to go through the courts to get custody of us because she's still considered the foster mother.
Right.
So, right,
Yeah, because explain to me how that's because the biological father has married the foster mom. So what does that mean
right.
for?
So my dad, I remember we had already moved from the city out to when it was the suburbs and got us situated. We thinking we moving for, reason, but with the courts, he had to prove that he had a good home, a stable, like, a good school to put us in, a home, what type of home he had us, what type of work did he do, what was his income, his background, because my dad got into, just trying to bring his life back up to where it once was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
my
what about?
dad,
Oh, oh, I'm
what was that?
sorry. What about the other foster kids that were in the home, like
They
originally?
they were all getting older. I know a lot of someone went to the military, someone ended up starting
Okay,
their
so
own
they're
life,
aging
but
out. Okay.
they're aging out. But even till the day he passed, and even now when I talk about my dad, they call him dad.
Wow.
Because not only because when he comes spend time with us, he didn't come in and say, "Hey, where's my kids?" He was like, he talked to everybody.
Yeah.
My dad was like that. He talked to everybody, gave advice, he helped people with their cars. My dad was a handyman. He was good with his hands. So fixing stuff, fixing cars. Hey, I need to do this. He gave advice. So over time, they called him dad.
Gotcha. So when you guys move, and does the stepmom ever adopt you guys? Does that come
This,
into play?
well,
Not
though
the stepmom.
I
I'm
don't.
sorry, foster mom. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, she becomes our mother, through marriage.
Right, but legally on paper.
Legally on paper, my dad had to go back. If they had my dad jumping through, so I remember him telling me he had to jump through so many hoops to get custody of his. Yeah, we're cut. Yeah, he married the foster mom, but he had to have custody of it. So he had to go again, provide the paperwork as far as what he did for a living, how much he made, where he lived, good schools, all of that, to show to the courts that like I'm doing everything I need to do. I want custody of my kids, and at the same time, it's the state of Illinois.
State of
I don't know the
Illinois.
fine deal. I just remember we get in the station wagon, drive downtown. It was like a 45-minute drive downtown Chicago. We drop my dad off, and then we go do something else. Come back later, pick up my dad from the courthouse, and yeah.
Yeah. So during this time, it sounds like you guys are pretty stable. You're in the suburbs, going to
hmm
school, and adjusting. Sounds like you're adjusting pretty good.
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay. Okay.
We're adjusting with my dad. But now this is when my biological mother is starting to more reappear back in our life.
Okay.
So, a lot of animosity towards my dad from my biological mom. Uh, um, I'm sorry, a lot of animosity from my biological mom towards my dad in regards to getting custody. She felt like she would get fair shake. She felt she different things she couldn't do or wasn't allowed to do with us. So it was a
Was
lot of yeah, and then there was a lot of, and I briefly say it because, but she would go into where she felt that the foster mother stole my dad away from her.
and there it is. That's what I was.
Yeah, I
That's
knew you
it.
was.
That's the part that I was.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. So the animosity was not only that, but now she's looking at the foster mom like, girl.
right. So
Right.
there was a lot of bumpy heads, and again, she did the appearing like my dad had no trouble. My dad had no trouble with us spending time with our mother, our biological mom, but it'd
Okay.
be sometimes where she do the pop up thing unannounced. And my dad was cool with it, but my stepmom, she was just like, nah, you being disrespectful. You can't just show up here unannounced. And they got into arguments and possible almost fights. And my dad had to be, my dad was pretty much the mediator. He was the mediator. He was the rock of the family.
So
everybody came to him.
was your birth mom trying to get custody, or she just wanted to spend time?
I don't even know at this time if she was trying to get custody because of the fact that she would have to go to court. I know plenty of times she's mentioned trying to, but she would have to go to court to provide proof
Right.
that she can provide a decent living. And not I'm not saying this to put her down, but my dad put us up pretty well.
Yeah.
Again, decent house. We good paying job. My dad worked for Illinois Bell, which is now AT&T. But he did that for 30 years. But yeah, my dad, took good care of us. And
So
sometimes,
she would have to, quote unquote, compete because,
right,
as far as the courts were concerned. So that's probably something else that she was upset about. But like you said, no one has really said what was going on with her, so we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know part of it, just going back a little, we did have visits when my dad was getting custody of us. We did have visitations with our mom, but it was interesting. So we had to drive to this facility. We went with my mom, and it'd be like a room, big room. It'd be a toy box, and my mom be sitting in there, and then it'd be just a lady just sitting there watching. Supervised visitations. We would, okay, guys, it's time for you guys to go. She give us a kiss, tears, and everything. So, that's when, fast forward, she felt she didn't get a fair shake in regards to even getting a chance to try to get us back.
So you're the big brother, and you have a sister that has disabilities. And how are they adjusting to this? Because I'm just thinking because they're younger.
Yeah. All of us, whenever we got that time where we're leaving our biological mom, tears are flowing, flooding the place. Just we didn't want to go.
And when you get back home, are they acting out because now I got to get over the fact that I just saw my mom and
Not at first. At first, when we're younger, we're not acting out. But, growing up, now the teenage years are coming. And again, at the same time, we're getting more time out of supervised visitations to spend time with our mom. So we're getting older, and we will always go everywhere. She'd take us to the movies. She'd take us shopping. She done a lot for us, as time went on.
Your
my biological mom, as time went on, we're doing
okay.
So now the acting out on our part, I'll speak for myself, acting out on our part starts to show. And it's something I'm not proud of. People like, you was a kid, don't beat yourself up about it, but you do. I get to a point where she's telling me stories, which again find out, years later as an adult, they were false. How my dad was abusive and he did this and he treated her like that and whatever. And I would take that back and like, Dad, you beat up on mom and this and that. And now going from 8th grade, now I'm in the high school, still getting information and relaying it and acting out towards my dad.
So she was, oh no, she was telling these stories that she's fabricating.
Yes.
Hyping out, again, we'll speak for you, hyping you up.
Yes.
And then
yes, I'll speak for myself. And I go back and I'm like, I remember one time in particular, I laugh, but I'm embarrassed about, but I go back and like, I'm just feeling myself. I'm starting to lift weights in high school. 15 years, 15, 16.
Something about that 15. I have sons, that's why I know.
Oh, okay. 15. I have a daughter now. She'll be 14 in a couple of weeks, and I'm already starting to see. I'm like, oh no, I'm not ready. The boys.
What did you do at 15?
So this particular time, I'm taking this information that my mom has been feeding me. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, how could you do mom like this? This, that, and I'm just we going into an argument. My dad's a quiet. Just to get a concept of how my dad was, he was quiet, but you ever watch the show The Little Rascals?
Yeah.
Froggy,
Uh-huh.
the little kid? That's how my
Uh-huh.
dad talked.
Okay.
So he didn't yell because when he yelled, it comes out as a whisper.
Okay.
Because his vocal cords were so strained that he had that froggy talk, but when he yelled, it just turned into a whisper. So he got over years. He don't tell. We used to call him the quiet storm because when he get quiet, we know something about to
We
happen.
know, but move out the way.
Yeah, and I didn't recognize the sign. I remember we were in the kitchen at the house.
Observation skills just horrible at 15.
Yeah, exactly. Don't recognize your surroundings. No danger at all. I'm fine. What's going on?
So what did you do? I can't wait.
But I'm feeling myself. I'm on the wrestling team. I'm working out. I'm running. I'm thinking I'm something because I got my little muscles and I got my dad's face. And my dad, I forget to remind myself that at least at the time that my dad was a wrestling champ in high school. My dad can fight. My dad is a fighter. Um, Long story short, my dad folded me up and put me in a package in the middle of the kitchen.
Because you got in his face. Did you see my
I
face when
got
you said it?
I got his face. Yeah, whatever. I bet you won't do this. Just getting the attitude. I bet you won't do this. Mom told me, what you doing, this and that. My dad got quiet. Next, my
You was on the
knee
floor and
was,
you don't even
yeah,
know
I
how
was
you
on the
got there.
floor. Somehow my knee got attached to my shoulder. Yeah, everything happened in the blink of an eye. Just that, that's the first time I realized old man strength is real.
Yeah. Father's
Yeah,
son
because
strength is real, and father's not
yeah.
going to lose. There's
And
that.
he didn't lose. Yeah, he folded my clothes while I was still wearing them. And he just,
Oh my
that
gosh. Talk about I can only imagine the frustration because him knowing whatever she's saying is not true, but she keeps saying because she's, causing
I remember again in high school, my dad's up late and I remember it being a Friday and my dad just sat me down. He's like, let me talk to you. And he explained all the stuff. He's like, yeah, I wasn't a good person. I did some ill stuff. He says, but all the stuff you've been mentioning to me about what your mother said I did, I didn't do that. Your mom, she went through a lot. At the time, she's still going through a lot. She really, at the time, just like now, we're starting to recognize mental health. My
yeah.
mom needed that at that time. And, my dad's like, I never done that to you. He's like, why would I do that to her, but not do that to my
Sure.
current wife, your stepmom, your mom? Because I would even take it out on her sometimes. Like I would, okay, you guys get to bed, whatever, and it'll be disagreement. Kids don't like what parents give them. Like we were the kids that had to go to bed early, like the first days of school. I will never forget. It'd be late August, early September. Sun's still out. Kids are playing outside. We in the bed because tomorrow's the first day of school. But we in the bed at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Oh, yeah, sun's definitely still out.
Yeah, sun is still out. We laying in bed. We can hear our friends outside, and the respect of mom and dad, that title. So all right, good night, guys. Good night, Bertha, because that was her name. And like my mom,
Oh,
like
now she's Bertha.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So she closed the door and wouldn't say nothing, and then I knew again. This is the sign I knew I was in trouble. I hear them keys coming up the stairs. My dad, he just had a key to everything. And he and he come up the stairs and you hear them keys, he's like, I'm in trouble. I'm about to get
Yeah.
And
And
many
you
of
are,
times
yeah,
I
yeah.
got folded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, you want to call by people first names? And my dad
Because you're
was like,
being
oh.
disrespectful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And my dad he would either say little or wouldn't say nothing. Like he'll just come in and wouldn't say nothing. And just snatch up, like my mom would come home with groceries. So, all right, I went to got the food, come take it in the house. We're
That's
coming
right.
because we want to play Nintendo. So my dad hear my mom calling multiple times. Well, he got up out the bed because he had to get ready for work that night and just snatches Nintendo and TV off the wall and just throws it in the hallway and just like, didn't you hear your mom? And walks off.
No Nintendo for you.
Yeah, no Nintendo for me.
Oh my gosh. So there was some animosity there. So what you just walk me through high school. At what point do you start to go?
Oh God, because that was the beginning of high school. Freshman year, I thought I was somebody. I'm playing sports. I'm starting to develop. I go from being short and skinny. Now I'm starting to put a little bit of muscle on. Think I'm something. And like I said, the energy and information my mom would feed me, I would take it back to my dad. And
Does this happen all during high school that she's feeding
yes,
you?
majority of high school, she's feeding me information. She's feeding me information
with your chest out.
And with my chest out, thinking I'm somebody, just thinking I'm just doing it. It's just,
oh my gosh, all during high school. Okay, so at what point does it turn and you start to kind of understand? Because he has this conversation with you. Did you believe him when he had this conversation with you?
Yeah, I had, I had when and this is where I got the breakdown. He's like, you don't know how much I've done to get you guys. You don't know how much I went through as far as going through the courts, fighting the courts. That's when I got my first understanding of what he had to go through just to get, because I'm like, and I'm thinking, you married mom, why should you have to go through all of this? But they made him jump through so many. It's a lot that they make men jump through nowadays just to get their kids. And even at this is what, mid-80s? And he's going to court. He had to come with documentation. This ain't, email it to me. So he had to show up in court. Yeah, Your Honor, I got a house. This is where the house is located. The school is here. They're registered for school. I make this type of money. The kids, he had to show not just what he had, but also consistency across the board that he can provide for us. It's like the state of Illinois was eager to put us back in foster care. Yeah. And it's like, what? He's in high school. He explained, like, look, I know what your mom is. She's going through a lot. There's a lot that went on in the years where they were together. And from there, he just went, and it was just a lot my mom was going through. Yeah. I'm trying to say it a lot without, because I've learned over the years what it was I'll just chalk it up to mental health, because it did spread off with my biological mother and myself to adulthood.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't continue. I think pretty much the last decade before she passed, we finally buried the hatchet and got together and enjoyed each other's time. And then it really kicked into high gear when I had when my daughter came, because she wanted to be, she was Nana, so.
Sure. It always changes things.
Yeah, so, but in back to high school, yeah, it didn't get any better. So.
And what about the relationship between you and, because this is such an interesting dynamic. I've never had anybody say that my birth father married my foster mom. This is the first. I've never had that.
And this is why I asked Kathy, I'm like, am I considered, an adoption? Yes. I was adopted, but I wasn't adopted because my dad was there, but.
Your dad was there, but who? I'm going to repeat it. I've never heard that the marries the foster mom. So this is like a real, the dynamics, because, and then your birth mom is still around. She's feeding you this information. Y'all are acting out like this is, and you're only talking about you. You got siblings behind you that I'm sure was probably cutting up too. But
that's
so it was probably a lot going on in that house.
That's a show for another day with that one. I'll just stay on my story. My siblings, because they were there. We all heard the same information, and it went a different route with my brothers and sisters, how they interacted with, my dad was the one, he wasn't gonna put up with it, so they couldn't pull nothing over his eyes. But my she fed information. They ate. I'll just say they ate it up and used it, and whew, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I can only, yeah. And this went on for years. So the
for,
reason
for
why your story is like, what? Because how do you even function in that
as a teenager
as
at
a
the time.
as a teenager at the time? How do you even function in that, and then go on into adulthood? At what point do things kind of start to shift? Does the relationship ever start to get does your heart
About
starting to soften a little bit towards towards your towards everybody, because you got a little chip on your shoulder at this point?
Yes, it started to soften for my dad, because now that we live in back in the suburbs, we're closer to basically we're down the street from each other as far from my um where we lived and where my biological mom lived. So my
Okay.
dad is doing the best of trying to, interact with the kids and be cordial and like, look, we don't need to do this. We need to do this for the kids. And my mom was like, almost like you took it from me type attitude.
And then let me
So,
ask you this: what about the rest of the family on your mother's side? Do you ever have
um,
contact with them?
well, I have contact with actually three of my relatives that are still here on my mother's side. A
Okay.
lot of them, um, you find there's something I found on YouTube that always sticks with me. When the people that are the glue that keep the family together are gone,
Yeah.
how it in the message it said holidays hit different. I
Yeah.
change it, life hits different.
Yeah.
So when my biological mom passed, you saw my uncles and aunties' true colors. You got some that won't even look at me. When she passed, the day she passed, December 2nd, 22. And I'm in Arizona at the time, and I'm trying to book flights, but the weather's bad. My cousin and everybody tell me don't go. It's useless. They're canceling flights left and right. Ain't no use. One of my uncles on my mom's side calls me up and just says, "Where in the are you?" I'm like, "I'm in Arizona. I'm trying to book a flight, but they're all being canceled." He goes down telling me, "You're the worst son ever. How could you not be here for your mom? This and that and the third." And this is at least 6 months. 6 months before she passed, I was in Illinois spending time. It was my daughter's birthday. I was in Illinois, and it was myself. It was my ex-wife with our daughter, um, myself and my mom, and she kept pleading with me, tell everybody I want to see him, and not knowing that was the last time we was gonna see her.
Sure. Yeah.
So we like, she's like, call your brothers, tell them come by the hotel. I'll pay for food. We'll have a big birthday party for your daughter. So I call him up. My brother, I'll get back to you. My sister, she's like, I don't got nothing to do with her.
Mm.
It up and down, yeah. I'll just leave it at that. And they didn't show up. And then 6 months later, she
It was
passed.
gone. Oh,
So,
how does I'm processing this dynamic,
mhm,
and you may not have ever even considered it, but um, it had to shape you in some kind of way. It had to, not even realizing that your dynamic was very different, but
mhm,
I don't know. I don't know any foster, yeah, that just have this much contact with not only, okay, you got your foster. Usually, what happens is you'll still have, at some point, you'll go back, because that's the whole point of fostering. So at some point, hopefully, you'll be able to go back with um your biological parents. But in your case, not only
mhm.
do you grow up with your biological parents, the foster mom is the mom. Do you understand?
Right.
Do you get that?
Every time I explain it to people, they're like, dude, you need to put that like in a book or something.
I'm
You need to put that
saying, do you
down.
understand the dynamics of that and how that had to shape you? And I know that was just your norm. That is not normal.
That is not normal. And truth be told, even this is even before he passed. My dad is my hero. I remember actually, shoot, crap, emotional. The last time I saw him, this is in the Christmas of '06. And I remember him and my mom, after he retired from Illinois Bell, they relocated to Arkansas. We have a bunch of land out here. We got 20 acres, and they built a house on it. And that's what my dad said. I came down there to spend time with him for Christmas. And I remember getting off the plane. Hey, Dad! I hug him and I give him a kiss. He looked at me like, "You kissing me?" I'm like, "You're my hero." Whitehall.
Okay, I asked.
That's
my
on the
people are from
outskirts
Forest
of.
City, Arkansas.
Yeah, he's from not from, but it's on the outskirts of Pine Bluff.
Okay, Pine Bluff.
Just outside of Pine Bluff.
Okay.
It's just nothing but country. Ooh,
yeah,
it's country.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just nothing but trees.
Nothing, yeah.
And he moved down there, and almost the same situation with him, where I did a week in Arkansas, and then I did a week. I had lived in Arizona at the time. So I did a week in Arkansas with my dad. Then I went up and spent time New Year's week with my biological mom in '06.
So let me ask you this. Something just popped in my head. You have when you have your first child, your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamics there, the grandparent dynamic. What does that look like?
Well, what is it? She spent time with both of them. They both, my daughter Brianna Breezy, spoiled rotten. Love her to death. Spoiled rotten on both sides. Of course we are. Like her birthday's coming up, she's gonna be 14. Spoiled. Oh my goodness, that girl. I'm like, and I always remind her, it's like, I wish my dad would have met my daughter. I'm like, I call him, Paw Pitts. I'm like, if my dad would, you think you spoiled now? Oh, if Paw Pitts was alive? Oh, Lord. Ugh.
Okay,
but the
so
dynamics
he didn't get to meet her.
No.
So, I don't know what to call
my
her.
stepmom.
What do we call her? Is it your stepmom or?
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked that question. So how it works is, so she has at this time now she has 3 grandmothers. My ex's mom, my stepmom, and my biological mom. So my ex's mom, who I still talk to, love her. That's grandma.
Okay.
My biological mother, that's Nana.
Okay.
My stepmom, that's Gma.
Okay.
That's so she could decipher who you like because at first she's like grandma, like, okay, which one? So that's the names that, we need names. So that's basically and they all pretty much, they loved that girl. Again, that girl is spoiled. They love her, and they still do. I know, both of them, because my biological mother again passed away in December of 22, and then my stepmom passed away in October of 23.
Oh.
So yeah, just back to back with those, and that's something I deal with. But they were both loving. They did whatever they had to do for us. It grown over the years. Again, it grew into adulthood, the animosity with my biological mom, where my first marriage, this sucks. My first marriage, we're getting ready to get married, and I hand deliver the invitation to my mom, and her response was,
my mom.
Okay, my biological mother.
Okay.
My biological mother. Everybody else was already coming. I'm getting married. Everybody's there. We getting this set, and my stepmother would say, "Hey, did you invite your mom?" I'm like, I tried to call her. I'm gonna go over there and give her the invitation face to face. So met up with her, and she's like, "I'm not coming," and she didn't show up. And I'll say through my that first marriage and divorce, um we didn't talk. It was just, hey, how you doing? We didn't talk. We, lost communication, stopped talking during that time period.
Do you know why she decided to not?
I know I know one of them was the fact she didn't approve of the woman that I was going to marry. Um and the rest of the family, like, look, he's a grown man. If he wants to marry this woman, let him,
Yeah.
support him. You don't have to be A-okay. Just like, fast forward, if my daughter, whenever, no time soon, decides to get married, I might not like the guy she picked, but it's like, all right, I'm gonna still be there just in case he. But anywho, but yeah, she did. That was that, and then just that stuff over the years. Because once that sit down, that was the pinnacle right there. That sit down with my dad in high school. He's
Yeah.
like, look, your mom give you my mom was she worked as a nurse at Loyola Hospital. So she make decent money, and we got whatever we want, video games, toys, whatever. And my dad's like, yeah, I can't give you all that stuff like you want to, but I give you a nice house to live in. Every summer we're going somewhere in the United States, because he taught us, like, look, there's a world outside of Chicago.
Absolutely.
And we always went somewhere. We even got a point where we got made fun of. Oh, look at the Pitts kids are the rich kids, because we come home from school and my dad bought a 27-foot motorhome to go on our
To
next
go on
vacation for the
vacation.
summer. And we're like, that's to go on vacation. Like, y'all got a house and a house
And
to
a
travel
house to
with.
go.
Especially being a black family in that area.
Yeah.
Like, y'all got money. No, we don't know. You got a house, and then you got a house on the road. Oh, don't tell me you don't have money. All right, whatever. I'll let y'all believe it.
But you
But yeah,
did.
my dad, yeah, we.
Y'all were okay.
I'm like, exactly. I just said we're okay. They're like, uh-huh. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
my dad, he made sure we go. We went from all over the United States. We went to California, Nevada. We went to Washington D.C. We've been to Florida. Every summer we knew we was going somewhere.
Somewhere. And
And
that's
before
how
the
it should
motorhome, it was a
be.
station wagon. Yeah,
And that's how it should be. Because we do that. I believe in that. Because like you said, like
yeah,
what your father told you, there is a world outside of what you see every single day.
right.
And
And
you
he
need to go
saw
see it.
he correct, and that's almost word for word what he said. And he saw was the reason why. Because I asked him, why didn't you just stay in the house in Chicago where we stayed? Because my foster mother, or now stepmother, owned it. And he said, I see what's going on in the city, and I need to get y'all up out of there. That, it won't be nothing good. This is the inner, south, I'm sorry, west side of Chicago.
Okay.
So this is in the 80s. So he gets us up out of there, and, you know, works hard to get us get somewhere to live. We couldn't complain. He's like, yeah, I can't give you all the fancy stuff, but he gave us life lessons.
Love it. That's it. That's it. Um, I want to ask you because you were going there and then we got a little sidetracked. It's shaping you because this is this is different. I know, like you said, you tried to explain it to people, and people are like, "What?"
Like, what? But
Yeah,
it is different.
because I think what you don't realize, because you didn't even
Hmm.
realize that you fall under this umbrella of,
No, I didn't.
yeah, you definitely fall under this umbrella because
Hmm.
you were taken from the home. That's some trauma in that. Because, like you early on, you were talking about, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some trauma
Yeah.
there. That's very traumatic. And especially for you, old enough, like you can describe what happened to AT because that's what you did.
Hmm. And also, as I grew up, I went back to gather information. Like, one thing that I'm working on is our family tree. I'm trying to gather up stuff like, on my dad's side, my dad and his brothers, my uncles, are the furthest I've gone. The only thing I know about my grandfather, my dad's father, is his name is James Pitts, and he was a prize fighter in Chicago.
That's
back in
it.
20s and 30s. That's it. I have no like teams he worked with, his sparring partners, coaches. They all are long gone. That's all I know. And my dad never really talked about his childhood. He would like tell a story. He was like, I went to the store, I came home. He never had a middle whenever he talked
The
about,
store came home.
yeah, I had a wrestling match, I won. What happened? Like, give us, he never really, that's how he would explain the stories about growing up.
Yeah.
I was
It,
born, I grew up, I moved out. So,
but you know what? Typical of his generation, a lot of men didn't expound upon
right.
where they came from, what it was like there. Um, you've mentioned your grandfather. Do you know anything about your grandmother on that side?
My grandma, yes, her grandma Agnes. Yes, I know about my grandma. She played a huge part as far as growing up as well. She helped out a lot uh, when my dad got custody of us and moved us out too, because he also took her in, because helping her out as well. So
Okay.
we spent a lot of time. My grandmother, my dad's dad, my dad's mom, and my uncles.
And
My dad's
that's it.
brothers.
That and
Yeah.
and that's it.
And
That
so they were a big thing. So I had a bunch of male different I had, my dad was the responsible one. If you needed help, he would give you if he give you the shirt off his back if he could.
hmm
you know Not on my mom's side. Eventually, it's like over time, once we got settled, and like I said, it went from when my dad got custody of us and brought us out to the suburbs, then we started seeing that side of the family more. Like we have two Christmases. People, oh, that's awesome.
it,
I didn't like that as a kid. Having two Christmas. I wanted us to be all together. Like we'll get,
and
obviously we stay
see,
with our dad.
and that's what I'm talking. Little stuff like that you probably never even considered. Yeah,
Hmm.
because your family is doing what it's doing. And like I
Hmm.
said, you remember being taken from the home. It's so interesting to hear that, even though, like, who your biological parents are, you saw
Hmm.
them, but how much do you really know about them?
Like I said, with my dad, his childhood bringing up, and um, up to the point where he kind of fell off. I know about. Then, like I said, he entered our lives, and like I said, he didn't go into it like we just talked about. But he was like, I'm doing the best I can.
Sure.
He's there for us. He showed up track meets, wrestling
Showed
meets.
up.
He was there, and not only was he just there, like, hey, good son. My dad was extra. He would show up and he have a whole. That's how I got interested. Me and my dad, I'm pretty much a split image. Everybody tells me that I talk to, like, God, it's like talking to Bradley. Jeez, if and he would show up to the track meets with the old camcorder on the shoulder
Yeah,
and recording the
yeah.
track. I'm like, really,
So
Dad?
there's
He's like,
VCR footage of you sitting around
yes.
somewhere.
Yes, yes, it is. He show up to wrestling meets, like your dad's here. He's setting up his studio. He
Of his
come out, got the
studio.
tripod. He got he's just out there doing. He was that. He was that. He always took cameras. We find which me and my mom did after he passed, a lot of film that wasn't developed, because my dad would
Yeah.
just taking
Take
pictures.
pictures.
We
Take the
have
pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I still got to get them, and it's gonna take me forever to do. But my mom ended up storing or actually 5 storage crates of just nothing but pictures.
Love that. Love that.
And I'm like, I'm trying to scan them, so just in case something happened, I have it.
So
But yeah, my dad was always snapping pictures.
now, what about your stepmom? Is she showing up to, like, does she really step in and fulfill that motherly role? Like, in
Oh,
hindsight, in hindsight.
and more, to step up. She did more than just I still commend her for taking us in. She already had 4 kids in the house,
Right.
and then to take 4 more kids, and it's just her. Yeah, she had people and friends that looked out and helped out with us as certain parts of the time, but it was primarily her. And then the kids would be like her. She was in charge, and they were like her lieutenants.
Okay.
But she stepped up more than, and not just for us, but even after us, she still we still continue to adopt kids. So it
Adopt
was,
kids or take foster
not
kids, you mean?
adopt, foster kids. I'm
Foster
sorry.
kids, foster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there was one.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and then more. That was basically it. Yeah, she's done more than just being a mom. She was there for us. She took us in, and then to also turn around and marry my dad.
Yeah,
She's an
that's
angel.
it.
So
That's it for me. Do you consider yourself a foster kid?
see, that was the question I was trying to get through with Kathy. I'm like, am I? Am I not? I mean, I am, but I didn't go through the system like everybody else because I did watch a couple of shows and I was like, mine ain't like that. I mean, I feel bad for her. Some it's just.
It is different, but
Hmm.
yeah, you're a foster kid, but it looks very different. Because think about it, there was a time period in there where you were just with your foster mom, even though your
Right.
dad was, you know, trying to get his new wife. Not mad at him. You shoot your shot, sir.
My dad shot his shot and scored.
But there was a time period that you were taken from the home, and then you were just with your foster mom for a time
Yeah,
period.
for a
And
time period. Yeah, it was very. That's the thing that gets me is like it was since it was so short. I don't know if it justifies in time spent. I didn't go from home to home to home.
no, you didn't do
I
that.
was at one location, and then my dad, stepped up. And you're right, it's traumatizing, but also I pay more attention to the other side of it where, yeah, that was traumatizing, but growing up with my mom and dad in the house, they loved each other. To a point where it's
Mm.
like we sitting there and my mom would sit on my dad's lap and we're like, get a room, you know. And my dad was like, this is my house, so
So y'all go get a room. How about go get a whole
y'all,
house? That's what you can do.
yeah, you can leave. No one's holding you here. And this like, yeah.
What I love about your story, though, is that it's not the doom and gloom, and because we hear a lot of that. We do hear a
Mhm.
lot of that. There are some traumatic parts, sure,
Right.
but every story doesn't have to be on fire, if you will.
True. And that's what I was hearing, even hearing Kathy's story and, hearing, I got the audio books and it's like, man, it's just like,
Yeah.
I just like, oh, you need a hug, come here. It's just like, I'm so sorry. It's just,
So you didn't
yeah,
know until you listened to the
no,
book?
because, and the thing is, I didn't know, but I'm saying it's weird because I didn't know until I like read the book, seen the stories, but she babysitted me. She babysitted because she's on my dad's side of the family, and
Okay.
she babysitted me. So it'd be sometimes where we'll go over and visit. And one thing that I don't know what it was, I was obsessed with at her house, and I wanted one. I never got one. I would sit there for hours playing Simon.
Simon,
And I don't know, she had one, and I'd be there just by myself forever playing Simon.
Kathy, get this man a Simon. Go to Walmart, pick up one, and send it to him.
And I just playing Simon by myself. But she was the coolest. It was her. Because I was to them on my dad's side, even though I was the oldest of my siblings, I was the little kid cat kind of following along with Kathy and then my Uncle Frankie. They would go
Okay,
through stuff and I was closer in age with them, but I wasn't quite there yet. Like, they're in
gotcha.
high school, I'm in eighth grade, and
Yeah,
then on and on. But
yeah, that's a big age difference when you're a kid. You're not hanging out with
right.
us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yes, like I want to go. They're like, you can't go
no,
with us.
you
You
cannot
can't.
go.
You cannot go with us. And but yeah, that dynamic part, it does shape you. Just talking about it now, just and thinking about all the times. the conflicts, as well as the happy times. It does shape you.
It absolutely shapes you. And that's what I want you to take away from it's okay. That's what
That's
I
one of
want
my
you
alarms.
to that's what I want you to take away from our conversation today.
Yeah, I am. It's like, man, because I've always like, am I a foster child? Am I not a foster child? My dad was there, but he wasn't there, and I didn't have neither of them. I was in a foster home, but then it
Yeah.
turned into a home. It's hard to.
Listen,
I'm
you are
still trying to
definitely a
grasp it.
unicorn because I have never. And it's not a bad thing. It's just different. It's your story. That's just what happened. Thank God you
Right.
didn't go from home to home.
And I've heard the stories over the years, like people going from home to home and this and that. Even as close as the older foster kids, where they went from home to home and they had
Mhm.
so much conflict with mom and dealing with they had a lot of mess going on. And
Yeah.
ours is not even to that. So when again going back to, I'm like, does mine constitute as that as far as being a
I would
no.
love to hear, and I know, and we won't get into it, but I bet your siblings have a different perspective.
Very. We different. How different is we all grew up, like, for example, when my dad passed, we all at the house here in Arkansas, and my mom's friend is in the kitchen consoling her. My mom just couldn't stop moving, and her friend looks out the window and she sees three things. She sees three people doing three different things, and I'm not trying to throw their business out there, but my brother's trying to drink his sorrows. My sister, pretty much, she's high as a kite, and I'm running around the property, exercising, and then she said off in the distance they can hear screaming, because I'm just upset.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just three different
Yeah.
perspectives of it.
Yeah.
With
And I
me, it's
bet
like,
you
okay,
that's
let
how
me,
they view this. Three
yeah.
different perspectives.
And because, not saying my moms were less than, but it really hit when my dad passed.
Mm.
It really hit the family. I'm not a drinker, but it was to a point where I didn't drink. Well, I did drink, but I just fell asleep. But it was just dealing with it because I got older and realized how much my dad was. And like I said, that pinnacle part of me, him sitting me down, like, look, I'm what your mom said. Part of it is true, but the other part, yeah, I did some bad stuff. I'm trying to do right, and
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can for you and your brothers and sisters. And the information that your mom is feeding you,
Not
you
true.
know, majority of it's not true. I want like that. Like, just trust me. And from there it just grew. My dad, he was my best man at my wedding.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Let me ask you this. When your father passes away, is your birth mom, does she come?
no,
Is she there? Oh.
no. I think this was in that time period where we didn't talk because when I got married, this was my dad passed in '07, February '07, and um, we told her about it. I'm trying to remember how she reacted, but she wasn't there.
She wasn't there. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I I want to thank you for coming and having this conversation with me.
I thank you for inviting me. I was all week long. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna wear? Okay, I'm gonna set up my camera and I'm looking through. Okay, she got the studio. Okay, cool. She got different things in the background. I can use that. All right. Then I'm not gonna wear this. I changed this shirt at least
Where whatever
four
you be
times.
comfortable. Be wherever I got on a t-shirt. Be comfortable. And
From
usually,
Thursday today.
what I do is ask my guests to give some kind of perspective. But it's real different for you because the perspective is your perspective. And what I mean by that is I want you to take away something from our conversation today. Because there's still some processing, there's still some thoughts, even at your big age right now. You're still processing this.
Yeah, the age, I'll be 50 in December.
It's a beautiful thing. I just made 50 in March.
Oh,
It's a beautiful thing.
ooh.
It's a
I had
beautiful
some
thing.
hands. Like, man, I'll be 50.
Absolutely. And we thank God.
Yeah, I do every day.
We
Every
thank
day
God.
I thank
Because
God.
a
I'm like,
lot of
I'll be
people didn't
50.
make it, but we did.
Yes. Ooh,
But yeah,
ooh.
there's just take something away from our conversation today for yourself and continue to process. And then I encourage you to take a DNA test and learn all you can about your family.
That's what I'm doing. On my mom's side is easy because I still have people that I can talk
Okay.
to and tell me about, like,
And talk
on
to
my
them.
mom. Yeah,
Talk
I
to
do. I talk to them.
Yeah.
I know my mom's side of the family. They, my grandfather was born. He was from a family of sharecroppers. And from Mississippi. It was weird. Not to promote the movie or anything, but I was watching Sinners, and I'm like, they talked about where in Mississippi, and was that my grandfather is black and Choctaw Indian,
Yep.
and it was
Choctaw
explained in the
County in
movie.
Mississippi.
Yes, and I'm like, that's weird, and that's basically
It's
that side of the family. My mom would tell me, or my aunts and mom would tell me how they had to go spend the summer in Mississippi
in
with their
Mississippi,
grandparents.
down south. Yeah. A
Yep,
lot of people had to
coming up
do
from
that.
Chicago. Yeah,
So I encourage you to continue to do that because it's nothing more, I don't know, freeing than just building out your own family tree and just knowing. And then it's something that you can pass on to your own kids. So they will know.
definitely something to pass on. Because even with her, because out of my siblings, I'm the only one with a child.
Okay.
Nobody
Nobody
else
has
has
any
kids,
kids.
and my daughter was like, "How come I
Oh,
don't
well, that's
interact
another
with?"
reason why she's so spoiled with the. And I'm here for it. I'm her cheerleader.
You
I'm
really,
here for
you with the pop-outs, oh
Yes.
girl, oh
You
God,
go, girl. I'm here
that
for
girl
it.
is, oh, she's spoiled, and it's the teenage years coming. I'm not ready.
Yes,
Was
I'm
it a
here
couple of
for
weeks
it.
ago? She had her 8th grade graduation. I'm like, I'm not ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not ready. I'm not.
Well, again, I thank you so much for coming and go back and
Thank you
listen.
for inviting me. I didn't
Yes.
think I was gonna, because Kathy told me, and then I'm like, oh, she ain't gonna call me. I'm not in
Absolutely.
that category.
Absolutely. When she hit me up, I'm like, I got it. Reaching out. And here we are.
Because I didn't think I was in this category.
And you are. And you are. When
Okay.
Kathy told me my cousin is, and she did tell me that, and he doesn't think he is, but he is. That's all I need to hear. You are. It just looks different. You definitely fall under the umbrella for sure. So thank you so much for coming, and don't leave me. Hang on 1 second. And on that note,
All right.
bye, family.
Journey on. You need a pie with the good. Oh yeah, what's the one?